So when I say things like the kingdom of God is within you, or your true original face, or the indwelling spirit within you, or you're enough, however I word the same thing, the truth is you are the result. But at school, you're never the result. When you go to school, you have to chase, you have to fight, you have to compete. Even when you do sports at school, it's all about winning and losing. From a very young age, you were taught to ensure that you get good grades. And this chase continues to go on, right? Junior school, primary school, high school, college, university. And this continues to go on and on and on. And then, of course, when you apply for your first job, you soon find out that maybe 15 or 20 people have applied. So you're chasing, and then you're chasing to buy a mortgage, of course. That's if you're earning enough. So you're chasing. So the mind, of course, grasps very early on to the mechanism of I need to get a result. You mustn't confuse learning with enoughness. What I mean by that is just because you're learning something and you don't know something, it doesn't mean that you're not enough. I said you're enough, but the mind is saying, no, I need this, I need that, I need to get this, because that's the habit that it formed at school. That's why I'm always saying, slow down, there's nowhere to get to. What do you mean there's nowhere to get to? There's nowhere to get to. But I want to see the world. You will. You can. But you don't need to strive. But there are things that get in the way. Energies that need to settle. Clench your right fist. Clench it tightly, as tight as you can. Do you notice how the forearm is stiffening? If you keep holding on, your bicep will stiffen. Now let it go. Tension. And tension is grasping, striving, pushing, forcing, getting in the way. So when you were given your breath, when you were given your life, when life formed in you, you didn't need to push anything. But you weren't pushing, you weren't striving, you weren't forcing. Life was happening, right? And when you were hungry, you cried. You used your vocals. Then when you were placed, eventually weaned on the floor, you just explored in your enoughness. There was no interference. There was no interference in the lens, your lens. There was no distortions. You were enough, and your enoughness was fully one. There was no tension. There was no pushing or striving or strange dogmas, concepts in your mind. The breath was happening, and you were happy slipping and sliding and falling and rolling. There was no past. was no forward thinking. You were completely immersed in the Tao, the way. And the text always reminds us, unless you become like a child, unless you return to that state, unless you drop the distortions, the grasping, the forcing, the pushing, the striving, the dogmas, the ideologies, the political views, you cannot enter and experience your divine treasure. When you are a child and you're completely in the here and the now, this wonderful, joyful, relaxed state. So if you know how a camera works, then you will know the state that I'm talking about. The ability to capture light and form clear pictures without any distortions. And so the lens of a child is in samadhi, and that's why it's able to absorb without any disturbance, without any distortion. And what's supposed to happen is the image within a child is supposed to form into their likeness. They're supposed to form as they live and as they move and as they grow into the likeness. So image and likeness become one. When I say your image, it's just another word for your true nature. You were always enough from the beginning. You are always enough now. You are the result. You are practicing samadhi in the finished result. All you are doing is getting to know that part of yourself and walking with that presence. And this presence will become clearer, and this presence will become like an overflowing wellspring, and this presence will be transferred into all of your crafts, and this presence will bring you into the higher dominions, the higher vibrations, which is what the presence wants to. It wants to enjoy the company of higher frequency, the celestial realms. It wants to smell the incense and the fragrance of the higher dimensions. And it also wants to cover people that have lost this presence. Become like a child. Enter the presence. You are the treasure already. Let these words sink in. Sink into your enoughness. You are already the result. Feel the enoughness in your body, in your soul, in your mind, in your heart. Deepen the sense of your enoughness. Sink into it. Absorb it into you. Contemplate. Feel it in your body, every fiber of your body. I let go of the idea of not being enough. So you are enough. You've always been enough.